making their case. Senator Jim DeMint, Republican of South Carolina, says it is time for the GOP to embrace the Tea Party movement.
Yeah, David, DeMint says Republican leaders are to blame for abandoning the principles of the party, which has given a rise to these Tea Party protests.
The problem here in the Republican Party is not that our base has gone to the right. The problem in the Republican Party is that the leadership has gone to the left, and the Tea Parties and the Republicans out across the country are right there where American principles have always been, and I'm trying to pull the party back to the mainstream of where America really is.
All right, so here's the question. Does the Tea Party movement represent the feelings of most rank-and-file Republicans, or is it dividing the party along ideological lines? Here to make their case, Amanda Carpenter, managing editor with the progressive site thinkprogress.org, and Amanda Carpenter, a conservative blogger with the Washington Times. You guys, I'm going to start with this because I think this really hits it over the head for everyone. The Tea Party protest group called Tea Party Patriots, sponsored by Dick Armey, is planning to storm the Senate on Tuesday. And here's what it says on their website. I'm going to quote this. It says, thousands of us will meet in Washington, D.C. at the fountain in Upper Senate Park. The intention is to go inside the Senate offices and hallways. We're going to play out the role of patients waiting for treatment in government-controlled medical facilities as the day goes on. Some of us will pretend to die from our untreated illnesses and collapse on the floor. Many of us plan to stay there until they force us to leave. You guys, is this effective? Is it crossing the line? Amanda Carpenter, I'm going to start with you.
Well, I think there's a lot of danger if the Republican Party wants to embrace the Tea Party so much. We saw that a lot of them rushed to speak at Michelle Bachmann's rally with a lot of Tea Party protesters there. But when a lot of the Tea Party protesters were carrying some controversial signs, including one's comparing Obama to Hitler and showing dead Holocaust victims and comparing health care to something the Nazis would do, is that something that the Republican Party is going to want to embrace, or then they suddenly going to back away and say, we don't want to have anything to do with that? So there's a lot of danger if the party tries to get too close to this movement.
Amanda Carpenter, what do you say about that?
Oh, I think the GOP needs to find a way to work with the Tea Party movement. And just to address one thing, we've all seen that Hitler poster. That is not a conservative thing. That's by a group named LaRouche. It says LaRouche right on the bottom of it. So, I mean, that should be dismissed from there. When you have mass protests like that, the fringe is always going to come out. But the Tea Party movement, they're mainstream fiscal conservatives, and that's what Jim DeMint is talking about. And GOP has to find a way to get back to that base. Rasmussen did a poll, in a three-party generic poll. Democrats took about 36%. Tea Party candidate came in second, and the GOP came in third. So unless they can come together on those fiscal issues, anti-spending, anti-bailout, the Republican Party's in trouble.
Amanda Carpenter, what is mainstream about believing that President Obama is not a United States citizen, or that his economic policies amount to socialism or fascism, or that there are death panels as part of health care? I mean, most people would not see
David,
the Tea Parties as mainstream.
I have some news for you. Jim DeMint, who's probably the most high-profile U.S. senator linked to the Tea Party movement, doesn't buy into any of this birther stuff, and neither do most of the Tea Party movement.
But he doesn't condemn it either.
Jim DeMint gave an interview with the Huffington Post, no less, Sam Stein, saying that this is a bunch of nonsense. He's a U.S. citizen, and if you want to, elevate people like Orly Tates and these fringe people who are not part of the Republican Party or really the Tea Party movement, I mean, you're making the mistake over and over again, because that's not what the Tea Party movement is about.
Here's the bigger issue. Let's when Gallup did a poll about Americans' identification, 9% say very conservative, 31% say conservative, so 40% of Americans say they're conservative, 35% say moderate, 21% say liberal, very liberal. Amanda Carpenter, I'm just not quite sure how it helps the Republican Party to be moving away from the center in the way that Senator DeMint wants the party to go.
But if you would see the Tea Party movement for what it is, and not what you're trying to make it out to be about birthers in this is about bringing the Republican Party back to fiscal common sense. They're anti-big spending, anti-bailout. And that captures people who aren't only Republicans, but a lot of those Ross Perot voters and independents either way. If you look at how Jim DeMint's polling among independents in his own state, the people who don't identify the Republican Party or the Democratic Party, he has a 60% favorability rating. That was hidden in the crosstabs of the last Rasmussen poll last week. And that's great news for him because he's the leader of it right now.
But Amanda,